Your very own Mr. Entertainment. Mark Mulgrew on 107.8 Black Diamond FM.
Look in your eyes is a smoking gun. It's telling me there's been some damage done. Ooh, there must be somebody lying somewhere tonight, still warm from you. Oh, by the look in your eyes. I learned a long time ago, where there's smoke, there's fire. Something sure got your nerves jumping higher. Does a crime of the heart have you on the run? In your trembling hands I see a smoking gun. The look on your face is a dead giveaway. It's shooting holes through the things you say. What happens tonight? Whoa, what have you become? The look on your face is a smoking gun. I learned a long time ago, where there's smoke, there's fire. Something sure got your nerves jumping higher and higher and higher. Does a crime of the heart have you on the run? In your trembling hands I see a smoking gun. I learned a long time ago, where there's smoke, there's fire. Something sure got your nerves jumping higher and higher and higher. Does a crime of the heart have you on the run? Oh, in your trembling hands I see a smoking gun. In your trembling hands I see a smoking gun.
Smoking Gun. From the album Eventually, which is recorded by Heather Dickson. Good afternoon, Heather.
Good afternoon, Mark.
Oh, she's got the proper voice on today.
How are you?
I'm absolutely fantastic. Now we're going to be talking. We're going to play 6 of your tracks. We just played the first one there, "Smoking Gun," from the album that you recorded out in Nashville.
Yes, I did. Thank you, first of all, Mark, for having me on the show. I would like to say, yes, Nashville, the place of magic. Yes, I loved it over there.
I can imagine just the whole experience. Now we'll talk more about that later. But you are Heather Dickson. You're
Yeah.
quite well known on the Scottish scene.
Yes.
Because you've been around for a couple of years.
A few, yes.
Now, I'm, as I always do with everybody, I'm going to take you right back to the start and tell us how you first got involved in the music industry.
Wow, you're going back a long way. Well, I first started off, believe it or not, as a drummer. And I was in a Royal Navy band in Rosyth Dockyard, and I had a 16-piece drum kit. And I used to batter that away. It was fantastic fun. And I did background vocals at the same time. And found that I had this voice. But I mean, I've always sang from the age of 4.
Mm-hmm.
Hugely interested in Elvis Presley, influenced, should I say. And that's how it all started for me. From then on, throughout the years, I've professionally sang, on the circuit. And I still play the drums to this day.
Now, I've got to say, you were known and you were billed on loads of posters as Little Miss Dynamite.
Yes.
Over the years. But I'm just trying to imagine Little Miss Dynamite behind a 16-piece drum kit. Because you're not blessed with the greatest of heights.
No.
If that's a nice way to put it.
I am very small, yet I'm only 4'10". Maybe a little bit slightly bigger with heels on.
Yeah, I'm the same. Every time I wear heels, I'm just that wee bit bigger.
I just used to make adjustments, and I just loved the drums. It was so much fun, and it gave me rhythm and gave me confidence on stage. And we went around the clubs playing many gigs in Scotland, and it was great fun. And I think that just gave me the building blocks for to break me into the music business.
So when did the transition come into you coming in front of the drum kit and being the front of stage, and then obviously going solo as well?
Well, as I said earlier, I used to do the backing vocals for the guys, but then they used to say, "Well, Heather, you're really quite good at singing at the same time as playing the drums. So why don't you do a few songs yourself and play the drums?" So I did. I think my first one was "Nights in White Satin" that I used to sing. It was brilliant. So I discovered my voice, and a lot of people really liked my voice. So I got myself an agent, and I got out there myself as a solo artist.
So doing the clubs and holiday parks and hotels and restaurants and theatres and anywhere that'll have you, it's quite well. Obviously, as most people know, I do that as well, and it's a varied thing. But you've developed this country sound and this country
Yep.
show. How did that come about?
Oh, well, I was still gigging away, but I took an interest in a lady called Terry Sharp. We met on Facebook through mutual friends, and to cut a long story short, I heard one of her songs called "Eventually," hence the name of my album, and I heard lots of other songs, and I just kind of fell in love with the country scene, and I took a huge interest in it. I've always had interest in the country scene, however, but this prompted me to, try and really get into the country market. And Eventually is a beautiful song, and that's how it started. And then the next thing you know, I'm jetting off to Nashville to record the whole album. So it's quite a story.
Well, how did that come about? I mean,
Yeah.
it's not every day that we hear about Scottish performing artists, just up and
I know.
nipping over to Nashville to record an album.
I know. It's quite unbelievable. Well, what happened was Terry Sharp had heard me singing through online radio. I had released a first single called "Dance with Angels," and I believe that was the one she heard. And we got talking, we became friends. I liked her music, her songs, I liked the lyrics and the meaning in them. And a year went by, and we decided, right, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to make a go of this. And Terry Sharp funded the project. I put some money behind it as well. I got my own flights, and off I jetted all alone on this big trip, my first trip to America. And I got there. I'd never met these people before in my life. And my producer now, Rick Durrett, he produced the whole thing. And, from start to finish, it was just this magical dream come true for me to go to America and do this. So I ended up going to Nashville, recording it with world-class musicians.
You need to name drop for the benefit of the listeners. You need to tell us. You were telling me off air the caliber of the musicians that are involved in this album.
I know, unbelievable. Yes, I had. Obviously, Rick did it. He's toured with Crystal Gale. He had a hit with Tin Soldier. Sorry, excuse my stuttering there. And he's had many tours over the years. He's a fantastic B3 player as well, so he played on the album, the Hammond B3s. I had Steve Turner, who's Dolly Parton's drummer. They've just done Glastonbury not so long ago. I had the G-Men, who played on all of Garth Brooks' records, hit records, should I say, and his new one coming out. So that was Mike Chapman and Chris Lusinger. I had Ronnie Godfrey. He was in the Marshall Tucker Band. I also had Michael Duchette, who's Tammy Wynette's steel player. I just was blown away. Kim Morrison, she's worked with many greats, including Frank Sinatra. She's also a songwriter, so a lot of people recorded her songs as well. It's just unbelievable. I even had a piper, and he was American. So, the whole album has hit written all over it with these people, except me yet. But it was fantastic.
I suppose, you know, in reality, you know, you're working with all these fabulous artists who've all had hits in, you know, in various different various different avenues, and here's this wee lassie from Scotland, you know, walking through the doors. How did you feel when you first walked through the doors of the studio in Nashville?
To be honest with you, Mark, I felt a little bit smaller than I usually am. But I was blown away. I felt at home. Rick did it, made sure I was very comfortable, very at ease, and all the guys were just so laid back and welcoming. And once I started to sing, I was absolutely, I was okay, you know. But the biggest thing was once I started recording my vocals, when it was all coming together, it just blew my mind. I just so want to go back, you know, and do it all over again. So hopefully I will.
For album number 2, but we're still sticking on album number 1.
Yeah.
We're going to play another track. Tell us a bit about this track. It's called If You Only Knew. It's track number 4.
Yeah, If You Only Knew is slightly more rock, although it is a country album. But this is one of those songs where you're still in love with your ex and you pass each other in the street and look into each other's eyes, and one of them's cool and collective, and you're still feeling the pain of it all. So it's kind of about that kind of principle there, but you'll hear it.
One that most people can identify with.
Yes, you can relate to it very much.
Yes, I was surprised running into you today. You made it seem like everything was okay. You were so casual. You were so cool. You look the same, exactly the same. I searched your eyes, but I could not find a sign of pain. I don't sleep anymore like I did in your arms. It's been one long night since you've been gone. I've been so fractured. I've been so lonely. I feel the same, exactly the same. I don't understand how someone could change so totally. To go through. If you only knew, oh, if you only knew, I'm still in love with you. If you only knew, oh, if you only knew, I'm still in love with you. If you only knew. It's still for you. When I close my eyes, no matter who is there by my side, I fix my hair and I wear your favorite perfume. when I hear a song. Sometimes I pretend that you're not really gone. You walk through that door, loving me more than you could ever love somebody new. If I'm losing my mind, that is still for you. Oh, and it's true that time marches on, that I'm caught in a world of my own, where the clock stopped on you, and I knew it would stay still for you, always for you. It's still for you. Whenever I dream, you always return and say you want me. Asleep or awake, you can still break my heart in two, and I am amazed. That is still for you. Oh, I am amazed. That is still for you.
It's Still For You by Heather Dickson. Welcome back.
Hi, welcome back.
That's nice.
Thank you. I'm glad you liked it.
Now, you say that's going down well at your gigs that you're doing as well.
It is, yeah. I've been performing the album as I'm going along at live gigs. Even the band I'm in just now, we're playing the album as well, and it's a lot of people are actually buying the CDs, so it's great news for me.
So there's a mixture of different songwriters that are their materials on this album. Who put the content together? How did that all come together?
The main writer on the album is Terry Sharp, who is from Texas, and she wrote a number of award-winning songs for Don McLean and Hank Williams Jr. A UK songwriter as well called Ron Walton, Billy Curtis, and another Walton. I think it's all the Waltons really.
There's quite a few of them in that family.
Yeah, well, he lives down south. He's a fantastic guy. He's got a lot of really good songs, and he recorded quite a lot of songs himself. So all these singer-songwriters are great people to know. The other songwriter was Howard Morlan. He lives in Oregon, and so a lot of it is a collaboration. Mostly the songs were Terry Sharp's, and we discussed this. I'm a very big believer in singing songs that I feel, and that I can relate to, and I like being able to put my own slant on it, if you like. So I like to make it my own. And the one thing that we didn't want to do is pigeonhole it. We didn't want to just say, right, okay, Heather Dickson sounds like such and such. We wanted to concentrate on the songs being for me. So we decided and picked these songs together between me, Terry Sharp, and Rick Durrett. And we came up with this album. So a lot of the songs on this album that I've sang have actually happened to me in my life. So if you know what I mean, that's why it came across that way.
I think obviously, when you're singing other people's songs and possibly songs that you've not heard before, you need to really get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to climb into it and, really feel it. And I think when I heard Eventually, that was exactly how I felt at that given time. But we'll come back to that later. But I think, in general, the overall album is a portrayal of my emotional life story.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it is really good. My life story, believe it or not.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was just going to go down that depressing route.
No,
there,
no, no, not at all. It's just, I think if you can put yourself into a song and really live it, it comes out better. That's what I feel anyway.
Now, this has spurred you on to possibly thinking of, or you've dabbled with the idea of doing some songwriting yourself.
Absolutely. I have been. It's not a very easy thing to do. My hat goes off to any songwriter that have had hits after hit. I would really like to try my hand at it myself. I did actually write one called Texas Heart, which I co-wrote with Greg Frail from Glasgow, and it's really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I might keep working on my songwriting, but I think if I was to, I think I would need a co-write just to help me along a bit.
Greg's an old hand on Black Diamond FM. He's been on here a few times.
Yeah, he's a good
and
guy.
He collaborates with lots of different people. I've seen him doing lots of stuff with different people and sitting down. One of the things that songwriters always say, it's not a case of, right, today I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write a hit. There's loads and loads of bits of papers that get consigned over there and then get picked up maybe years later as well.
I know.
It's the effort and the time, I suppose, that all goes into it.
I know. I think, again, it's very much about how you feel, when you're writing something down. And so I am going to try it. Yes, I'm going to put my hand in it and see how I get on. And I'll come back to you about how that happens.
Yeah, we'll find out. I mean, obviously, once you release your next album with all your own material, that'd be good.
Oh, I'd love to, but I'd love to co-write with a few people on the next album. I'm really, really hoping to go back to Nashville next year. My PR agent Deborah Welsh is working very, very hard on this album, getting it heard, and she's been great. She's been my rock so far, along with Rick Durrett. So everything's going really well. So fingers crossed, I will be back in Nashville again, co-writing with some big songwriters. You just never know, Mark.
But you never know in this business, and that was going to be my next question. You've said that you have plans, or you have thoughts about going back to Nashville.
Yes.
Where do you see this all going for Heather Dickson down the country route? Where do you hope to see it going?
I hope to be able to tour the UK and Scotland. I'd really like Scotland to get behind me on this album that's out just now. I'd like to be able to tour with bigger names. But mainly in general, I really want to go over to America on tour and break out the market over there. But again, it all takes time, and all these little dreams you've got to keep plodding away. And
nobody gets anywhere without effort and resilience and determination.
Exactly. I think you've got to work hard. You've got to keep believing, keep pushing, and just keep networking with people. A lot of people in America over there that I've been collaborating with this album are very positive about it. So we just keep going. Deborah Welsh, as I said earlier, is the PR agent for me, and she's been working so hard behind the scenes. So watch this space for news about me over here, first of all, in the UK.
You were in a local paper in Whitburn, I believe.
Yes. I walked into the venue and I set up and I was ready to go on stage, and a few people came over to me and says, so you were in Nashville, so you've been in the paper. I didn't even know I was in the paper, to be honest with you. That's Deborah Welsh and her hard work. And it was really quite nice, for people to be saying, you were in Nashville, you're doing really well, can't wait to hear you sing. And I sold a few of my album CDs as well at the same time, so it was good.
There's the name for the book when the book comes out. From Nashville to Whitburn.
From Nashville to Whitburn, yeah. It's kind of like a Proclaimers lyric, isn't it?
Maybe you could do it the other way around, actually, from Whitburn to Nashville. It might sound a bit better.
From Whitburn to Nashville, yeah, absolutely. But you know what? We've intertwined this album with Nashville and Scotland, and I'm really proud of that. Rick Durrett actually wanted to make a unique sound and collaborate with Scotland and Nashville. How can I explain it? It's difficult to explain, but just I'm very proud of being Scottish as an artist, and I'm very proud that Nashville and Scotland are together on this album. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I'm getting it.
I hope you're getting it. Yeah.
I think the message is going across. Now, the album is called Eventually.
Yes.
And the title track, obviously, is called Eventually. Tell us a
Yes.
bit about this song before we play it.
Oh, Eventually really is a special song for me, and it started the whole thing, and hence why we used the title on the album. Eventually is all about, well, it's the most emotional song I've heard in a long time, but I think in general it's about you're still in love with someone, and regardless, you believe that they'll come back eventually to you, because that's what's going to happen. You know what I mean? It's like
It's going to happen eventually.
eventually they're going to come back, yeah, because it's love, you know. So
So for those of you that have a love that you've lost, it may come back eventually.
eventually.
Eventually, you will return and bring your love to me. Deep in my heart, I know it's meant to be. Eventually, someday, somewhere, you'll be pretending that you just don't care. You look into your heart and find it there. Eventually, given time, gentle rain can smooth the jagged stone. Things work out when they are left alone, and maybe that's the key. And I believe that true love never really leaves. It's there to bring you back to me. Eventually, given time, gentle rain can smooth the jagged stone. Things work out when they are left alone, and maybe that's the key. And I believe that true love never really leaves. It's there to bring you back to me. Eventually, you'll be surrounded by the memories, and they'll turn back into reality. Eventually, tell me what you're feeling and what it is you need. Your silent stares have wounded and caused my heart to bleed. But I'm so afraid to ask you for your honesty. Darling, are you falling out of love with me? We've been through some hard times and down some rocky roads, but this is the first time I felt this all alone. Has something come between us that I can't touch or see? Darling, are you falling out of love with me? I don't want it to be over. Say it isn't true that your feelings haven't changed for me. It's just a stage you're going through. Please don't make me wonder what you've got on your mind. The truth won't hurt me near as long as living a lie. And I don't know the next step or where it's gonna lead. Just tell me you're not falling out of love with me. Please tell me you're not falling out of love with me.
Darling, are you falling?
That's the one, darling, are you falling?
And you're just saying off air while we're listening to that, a very sort of traditional country.
Yes, that one's probably the most traditional country song on the album. One that I was terrified to record, believe it or not. And one of the ones that's a lot of people's favourites that I've heard it. I just love that song.
Mm-hmm.
I love the steel, and you can imagine a Nashville saloon somewhere and people slow dancing to that with all their cowboy hats on, you know. It's got that feel.
Now, we were saying earlier, and I was saying, you know, I've never ever really been a massive country fan, but there is a rise in popularity of country music, and there seems to be more of a resurgence of it coming back onto the UK scene as well.
There is, and you know, I think that country music's taken a huge leap forward, especially here in Scotland. You know, a lot of people in the club scene, for example, they're all asking for country music now. Before that never used to happen, so I think country is really back in fashion again.
Well,
hugely.
They're stuck with Rhinestone Cowboy, if that's me for country. That's all you're getting.
Or The Gambler, one of the two.
No, I didn't do that one. Can't remember all the words in the right order. There's too many words in that song.
Oh, you do good, Mark, when you're out singing.
Thank you very much. Now, talking about the album,
Yeah.
you have given me a pristine signed copy
Yes.
that we're going to give away next week. I'm going to play another couple of tracks next week.
Oh, thank you.
And we're going to give it away as well. So we've not got time,
Okay.
we haven't set up for today, but we'll have a wee competition next week, and we'll give away
Okay.
your album to one of our listeners.
That would be great. Well, I
Fun.
hope they enjoy the album, whoever gets it. And yeah, one lucky listener will be having an album of mine. That's great.
So the album is called Eventually, and when people do eventually want to buy it, which they're going to do right after this, where can they purchase this?
Absolutely. You can actually order a proper hard copy on cdbaby.com, and it will be delivered by the lovely postman straight to you. Or if you have an iPhone and you're quite, you want to download it onto your computer or whatever, you can go to iTunes or Amazon.com.
Yep.
So
And just do a search for Heather Dickson, and it should come up there.
absolutely, yeah.
And if people want to follow you, follow your progress and what's happening with the album and stuff, the best way to do it would be on your Facebook page.
Yes, I have a music page. Just type in Heather Dickson Music, and I will put all my up-to-date, where I am, where I'm gigging. Newspaper articles are up there as well, so you can read all about, if you're interested in my little life story. So it's all there. And there's YouTube video as well for Eventually that I did when I was in Texas. I loved that place. Wow, it was hot though.
Hot, very hot.
Oh, gee, it was really hot.
Hot and dry.
Absolutely. It was like being in a sauna every time you stepped out the door, honestly. But it was a lovely place. Do you know what I found really, really fantastic about Southern America?
Tell me.
Is the guys always opened the doors. It was always, yes, ma'am, and they were so mannerable. It was unbelievable. I mean, you get nice, mannerable men over here, obviously, Mark. You're one of those, yeah?
Yeah.
But they were extra mannerable over there. I just loved it,
You just loved the whole experience.
Yeah. But, I'm a big, huge Elvis Presley fan. And when I was in Memphis, Rick Durrett took me to Graceland as well. So, of course, I am going to love the southern accent.
Talking about
more.
Elvis, did you watch the interview that I posted up on Facebook last night?
I did, and you're right, it was sad to watch. I watched that from start to finish.
Yep.
And as much as I adore Elvis Presley since I was 4, that really upset me because I knew what you were talking about.
For the benefit of the listeners, if you do a little search on YouTube and you have a look for a press conference from 1970 that Elvis did, the influence of either drink or drugs or whatever,
Absolutely.
it was very sad to watch. Thankfully, Heather, you're not going to get involved in all of that when the fame hits you.
Oh, no. Do you know, I would be terrified to put a pill in my mouth, honestly. And to be honest with you, I'm not really a drinker at all, but I do like a little dram now and again,
For medicinal purposes.
Yes.
Well, can I just say thank you very much for coming in, bringing the album on the right day, and we won't broadcast that, unless you want to tell.
Well, yeah, I don't know what happened. It happens to us all, I guess. But I turned up here at the radio station a day early. Yeah, I can hear you all laughing. Yep. Thanks very much.
And again, just to clarify, you did actually go home and then came back today.
I did.
Yes, send me a message saying I'm outside. And right, okay, you just happened to be a day early, but thank you very much anyway for coming along. It's been great to have you here in the studio. It's been great to listen to the music. We're going to play out one final track that you selected to finish with, which is called "Can't Blame the Train." Tell us a bit about this one.
Originally, Don McLean recorded this way back in the, I think it was the 70s or early 80s. I'm not sure the exact date. I'm quite young, so I don't remember. But Can't Blame the Train, I don't know, there's something about this track. It just seems to be so catchy, and I loved singing it. It's a very fun song to sing. And again, one from Terry Sharp's repertoire. But thanks for having me on the studio today, Mark. And
it's been an absolute pleasure.
I've loved it. It's been good fun. So thanks for listening as well.
And I would like to say on behalf of Black Diamond and myself, all the very best for the future. Good luck with the album.
Thank you.
And let us know what's happening. Let us know when you're going back to Nashville. And we'll see the results in that next trip as well.
Sure will. Thanks so much, Mark. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yesterday and I called him to say, baby, please won't you come home tonight? Can't even trust my brain to get my heart in from the rain. That man's a hurricane in his own right. Then early this morning after he was gone, and I sat there in that chair all alone. that man was always doing me so wrong. And she said when the gates are all down and the signals are flashing, the whistle is screaming in vain. You stay on the tracks, ignoring the facts. You can't blame the wreck on the train. No, you can't blame the wreck on the train. Well, how many times have I promised myself not to do the same things as before? I swear I will leave it alone and believe it, then I'll turn around and I'll do it some more. Fool me one time and it's shame on you. Fool me twice and it's shame on me. That's what my mama told me when I called her this morning, and then she reminded me. She said when the gates are all down and the signals are flashing, the whistle is screaming in vain. You stay on the tracks, ignoring the facts. You can't blame the wreck on the train. No, you can't blame the wreck on the train. She said when the gates are all down and the signals are flashing, the whistle is screaming in vain.